Good day, this 336th day, meaningful moments, 365 days. Work life. I've started out this meaningful moment with those two words, work life, and wondering if you've ever reflected on what that relationship is that you have with work life. And if you just took a moment, what would come up for you? What would be the adjectives, the way you would describe or define work life? And the reason I thought about that is because so many of us have a negative connotation with work life. And perhaps it's become so skewed by the intensity and the busyness and the prevalent idea of work being all the time. We have our devices, we can get our emails, our texts, different platforms that we're on, and people responding in different ways and replying in conversations with multiple individuals because you're answering an email or you're answering a phone or you're on a Zoom chat or some other platform where you're in a meeting of some kind. And, we think of it now as just work. And of course, people have often referred to this rat race and these schedules that we have. But what if we went to a time before all of that and what it meant to love work, where the labor was, I think in the truest sense, a labor of love and not laborious. We even have Labor Day to honor people that work, and still inevitably there's people that work on that day and don't get that day off. But what if work was a way that we engaged with life, or synonymous with life, not as separate from personal life or other life, but it was just a way of living, another expression of life. And I think about that because I think about, like you probably have days where you work longer hours or you tend to more things and you feel tired. And sometimes we associate that with being, low energy, and that we might turn and point the finger at like work, that's what caused it. But really, we all have the opportunity to be listening to ourselves and when we might need a rest or a break. So there's so many speculations I have about work life, and even the way it's become, for some people they're punching a clock, or some people might not be punching a clock, but they're under a salaried position, and that salaried position carries a whole swarm of responsibilities that being on the clock doesn't. And you just have a lot of different preconceptions about work life and what is a better way to have it. But what if it was just life? And what if it was meaningful and purposeful? And what if you really loved to do it, and you felt you were called to do it, and you felt joyous waking up to a new day and being able to work in a way that allowed you to contribute your unique expression. And that's what I want to leave with you today for perhaps reflection, contemplation, or consideration. If you find yourself in any of those places that I described where you kind of go, ugh, work. And if it was just a flow. I had a friend tell me once that all of work and all of life is one and the same. To come to live and experience a life is to work. And she referred to it as like, you have to prepare your food, or you have to take a shower, or whatever it is that you have to do to care for yourself. and there's some work involved with that, and we wash our clothes or whatever that might be. But I would imagine there's people that have different services and all kinds of things like that to do the work for them. But what if you found pleasure that you get to experience this life? What if that became your work? What if today you find yourself working life in the art of living, and with that, well-being? For you, my friends, may you find joy in your work life. Aho.